Did Outlander just kill off Jamie Fraser in the second episode of season 7 part 2 without showing us his dead body? Yeah, I call that sus. But what matters here is that Claire thinks Jamie's dead, and the episode 11 trailer continues that assumption as we see her full of grief with no sight of Jamie whatsoever. Yet, she has to continue living her life. In the threat of being hung as a spy, she must marry Lord John Grey for protection. Much more will happen in the eventful episode 11 titled 100 Weight of Stones. Let's break down episode 10 and see what happens in the next episode by looking at the trailer. Everything is happening so fast. One common comment I see everywhere regarding season 7 part 2, actually season 7 in general, is that things move so quickly. And this episode did not prove this comment wrong. Claire arrived in Philadelphia one moment, and the next she carried letters as a spy. One moment Jamie supposedly dies, and the next Lord John Grey proposes to Claire. The problem arises with the contrast between the Outlander books and the show, where in the books the stories get more expensive and more complicated with more characters added as the series goes on. On the other hand, the episode counts decrease as the TV show reaches its end. This forces the writers to tell those stories in a limited time and even eliminate some of the critical book storylines. For example, Jenny is supposed to go to America with Jamie because she doesn't feel like staying home without Ian present there. She doesn't see Lallybroch as her home after her husband's death. However, this was changed on the show, and Jenny decided to remain in Scotland with her children, a decision made by the writers probably not to overcrowd the American storyline. What do you think about the pacing of the show? I must admit it doesn't affect me that much. I enjoy the new episodes, the acting, and the overall atmosphere. It's always a pleasure having Outlander back in my life, so I will focus more on the positive. At the end of the opening credits, this moment showed the Liberty Bell, the iconic symbol of American independence in Philadelphia. The bell currently has a distinctive large crack, but the version in the show did not have one because the split occurred in the 1840s, which means the bell was still in its unharmed shape when Claire arrived in Philadelphia towards the end of the 1770s. The reveal of Mercy as Walter's wife was incredible. Claire's scenes with Walter were among my favorite parts of season 7 part 1. In episode 5, when Claire and the others have to leave the camp but Walter cannot leave due to just having had an amputation, Claire says, "You're injured. The British will have to show you mercy." Walter repeats the word mercy and laughs. Now it makes perfect sense he was thinking of his wife. Yet, his wife seems to have a complex relationship with Henry. It doesn't just seem like she's there as a guardian. From the way she acted during the surgery to other moments where she seemed close to him, I sensed that she was in love with him, perhaps figuring that her husband had been long dead. We should see more of this in the upcoming episodes. The young Ian and Rachel storyline was lovely, but it is apparent that William has feelings for her, which makes me sad. Rachel is aware of it too, but she couldn't make her feelings for Ian much more obvious, I think. After saying goodbye to Rachel, William doesn't feel right about leaving her alone and decides to go back, saving both Rachel and Ian's life. How much more heartbreak is this guy going to endure? Just wait until he learns who Jamie really is. I'm glad the Archbuck storyline is finally over and that we can focus on a happier Rachel and Ian without any obstacles standing in their way. I do expect them to get married in part 2, what do you say? And the Jamie storyline. In his letter to Claire, he wrote that he would jump on a ship called Euterpe to come to America. But at the end of the episode, Lord John Grey gave Claire the bad news. The ship has been destroyed at sea. No passengers survived. His name was even on the passenger list. Of course, Claire didn't believe it at first, but then slowly it hit her that her husband could actually be dead. We saw one of the best performances from Katrina Balfe in years. I could see her pain and her unbelief in knowing that she was alive while Jamie wasn't. But do we really believe Jamie's dead? First rule of TV, if a character's death is not shown, if there's no dead body, then there's a 99% chance that the character is not dead. Come on, we all know this. Also, in the main trailer for part 2, there's a scene of Jamie we are yet to see. We know Sam Heughan was filming for season 8 for God's sake, and you should know that this is not how Outlander would kill off one of its most important characters, so Jamie is not dead. There's most likely a misunderstanding, something must have prevented him from going on that ship, and he's probably on the next one. But will he come back in episode 11? Let's see what the trailer shows us about that. The trailer opens with the words "Blood of my blood," with Claire looking like a ghost. She moves around the house like a ghost. She doesn't know what to do. She has never envisioned a life without Jamie, so she feels lost about what to do next. In episode 10, Lord John hinted that everyone related or linked to Claire would be interrogated and caught if she was not protected. Therefore, the marriage proposal was only acceptable to her because she wanted to protect others, not because she wanted to protect herself. She saw no point in living now that Jamie was gone. The trailer then shows us young Ian building a memorial alongside Rachel and Rollo. In episode 10, Claire tells him to talk about his father and what kind of a man he was with Rachel. I guess he wants to do that by building what is called a cairn, a pile of stones meant to mark a burial mound. The building of cairns goes even back to prehistory, usually as burial monuments. While Ian was planning on building one for his father alone, he has to do it for his uncle as well. The episode's name, 100 Weight of Stones, refers to the stones in this piece of memorial and the emotional weight he feels about now being the man of the family. Finally, we see Bree after not seeing much of her in the previous 2 episodes. It has now become clear that Jemmy is not in 1739, where Roger and Buck are currently. He's in Bree's timeline hidden by Rob Cameron. I hope this episode finally shows that revelation. As for Roger, he realized that his father was also in 1739, as his father's military identification tags were found in the same year. As far as Roger knew, his father, who was a pilot during World War II, died during the war and his body was never found. Now he thinks his father went back in time to 1739 and perhaps was lost in time. In episode 11, I expect to see Jeremiah Mackenzie for the first time. Quite excited. What about you? More of Claire grieving in bed. Honestly, it hurts so much to see Claire in this state as an Outlander fan. I hope this storyline moves quickly and that Jamie returns in episode 11. Lord John Grey talks to William about Jamie, about how Jamie was his friend. But from the way he talks about him, William must understand that something deeper was going on between them. For William, Jamie was a rebel who took up arms against the crown, but now his father cries for that rebel. Is there something he doesn't know? Yes, William, yes, and I cannot wait for you to find out. We also see 2 men on horseback. They look like Roger and Buck to me. They must be on their way to the stones to see that fairy man, aka Roger's father. There's also this shot of a gem held by dirty hands, so I'm assuming this scene is from the 1739 storyline and Roger is the one holding it. Is he getting a special gem to time travel himself, or is he helping his father go back in time? More of Claire and Lord John Grey. They even attend a party together. I'm guessing as husband and wife, they must appear together for their marriage to look plausible. Once again, Claire grieving. I cannot even talk about this. It hurts me to see her like that. And the last scene is of her with young Ian, I presume. Wow, so much will happen in episode 11. I have to say, I do expect to see Jamie coming back at the end of the episode as the big twist. Do tell me your thoughts as well. If you want to find out some stuff about season 8, check out this video.